Hey guys, welcome back to InnRoads Plays. We're a few people shy tonight, but we are not one for shy people, so that's always nice. We are going to forge ahead with a one-off story involving Monsieur Joyeux and Miss Miranda Russell. While our other players are out and doing their thing in real life does tend to get in the way of gaming sometimes, and we know it's not good to fault real life because it will come back and get you. So what we'll do is, again, we'll just do a one-off tonight to kind of help flesh out the characters, perhaps fill in some of the gaps that occurred between 6 months ago when they were first brought together in that tiny little Chinese restaurant in Limehouse to the point right now where they're within the home of Mr. and Mrs. Henry Doyle. And thought what it would be nice is to go ahead and record this. There's probably going to be a bunch of things in here that probably shouldn't even be fit for recording. But what we want to do is give you guys an opportunity to see what it's like to try and come up with something on the fly. And it helps to have players that are around you that are really contributory, that they really give a lot of what they want in their character and they bring that to the narrative. And it even if your folks aren't really used to doing that around the table, this is a great exercise to try and get them into that habit. So, without any further ado, let's sit back and think of a time period that we want to visit within your all's characters' lives. It's been, there was that night in Limehouse. We did kind of end that in kind of a cliffhanger-y fashion. It's obvious that all of you survived, but, there could have been...
Or did we?
Yeah, or did you? Is this actually...
Joyeux has brought himself back as a ghost from a seance.
Yeah, I've just been a ghost this whole time. I hate to spoil the big secret of my character.
Yeah. I was going to go the opposite and say that everybody else is dead and Joyeux is actually communing with everybody else around the table. This is her seance, or his seance the entire time.
I see dead people.
That's
exactly right. Exactly.
It's your business. It's your business.
What I do.
Yeah, it's your jam. So depending upon the time frame that you guys want to get into, I know that both of your characters are a little bit more on the mysterious side. You guys have your respective histories, that sort of thing, but you also have certain types of inquisitive natures that I think are complementary. So putting you guys together in this situation, I don't think would be too bad a thing. I mean, in fact, any of the other characters getting together is pretty cool, just because they just have got great complementary natures, except for Dr. Loom. I'm pointing at you.
Who's not complimentary in any way.
Except to only one person, that's it. So, sweet Edna.
Oh, Edna. And her deltoids.
And her deltoids, that's right.
And her hypothetical trees.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Love it.
So is there a particular time frame that you guys would like to explore in y'all's relationship, like where it's really new or what?
I have a question, Alyssa.
Mm-hmm. What
is Monsieur Joyeux's opinion of or take on Miss Russell? Because again, she is the foreigner, physically appearing foreigner, and that strikes some people, as a put off kind of thing. So, what would his opinion be of her?
I think Joyeux's just generally a very open-minded person. I mean, the way he grew up and the people he grew up with.
Okay.
But he would have no disrespect for Miss Russell, definitely.
Okay.
If anything, he'd probably respect her more, just because she is a foreigner, because she is dealing with this. And I think he actually as the group kind of develops, he ends up feeling a little guilty in his interactions with you and Dove.
Okay.
Because he's kind of the fake foreigner. He can take this off, but you guys kind of have to live with what you.
Interesting. Because her response to each of the players in the game is really going to be based on their initial reaction to her. She's acutely aware of her social status and all of those things. So she kind of tries to adapt to the situation and blend in as much as possible. So if you are standoffish, then she's going to be the same way. But if you're friendly to her, then she's going to have a bit more openness with you. So are we thinking that our characters would have become friendly or just be co-workers by the time we're at the 6-month point?
I think they could have ended up becoming friendly because,
Okay.
I mean, Joy definitely trusts Miss Russell at the 6-month point when
Okay.
he's, like conspiring with her to examine this stuff. So he definitely respects her as, an intellectual equal.
Okay. So that helps me figure out, how she's going to react to different situations and where we are on the timeline there. So, how far back do we want to go? Do we want to have some sort of experience where the two of them get into hot water and have to trust each other for some reason, or just something along the way that just shows how their friendship has developed?
That's actually a good idea, like kind of giving maybe not necessarily a turning point, but something like, where they kind of...
Where we had to step from acquaintances to friends through some sort of experience.
Yeah, kind of building that trust there.
All right, so Jeff, any ideas on that?
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Ready.
So let's see. So let's make sure I have everything right. So there's a mutual respect between the two of you that's built over the last 6 months. I think Joy mentioned that he's intrigued by Russell's kind of foreign history, being extraterrestrial. No, I'm just kidding. But being extra celestial, yeah. But being from outside of London, that sort of thing, and then
she has a lot of experiences like outside of London.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
She has different viewpoints than a London than a British-born.
And it's almost kind of like Joy's been looking to do that kind of a thing, and then here comes somebody who has done that kind of a thing, where you're developing this kind of skewed view of how London works. And I'm trying to be careful with what I say because I know certain things about your history that I don't, obviously you're not wanting to bring up at this point. But, given that kind of history that's kind of built up, it's interesting to find somebody who has a completely different perspective than the ones that you've been involved with in London. Like a breath of fresh air. There's the idea that, okay, not everybody thinks this way. So I don't know. Am I kind of on the right track? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so let's see here. So starting in kind of in the middle of things, you're looking at kind of at the point when you guys were first kind of becoming friends, and this is kind of something that kind of pushed it over the edge as far as how that worked.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right.
So a situation where we either had to rely on each other or help each other or exposed in some way that had been kept secret, and maybe we know more about each other than we know about the rest of the group. I don't know. Any of those things are good.
Okay. All right. I think that works. Okay. So let's see here. I'm looking at a couple of things, and folks at home, basically what I'm doing right now as a GM is I'm kind of compiling some of the information that I've gotten right now just in this brief conversation and mixing that with what I know about their characters behind the scenes and the separate write-ups that they've done. It's always great as a game master to have players that take the time to put that kind of a history together. One of the things that I'll probably go into in a separate episode or a separate recording is just talking about how I go about building NPCs or non-player characters, and how I used to write 2, 3, 4, 5 page things on each NPC that may not even be used in the game, and all that does is just build up resentment in the GM, and you end up trying to do a full total party kill right there.
I've had that problem myself.
So
I didn't talk to my guy. He was so cool.
Right there the whole time. But
and then the team latches on to some rando with a funny accent.
Wheel man.
Exactly.
Big wheel guy.
Yeah, and well the cool thing about it is that when I learned how to back off of that whole full description. It gave me enough time to really appreciate what the players are doing and what the players are putting out there. It's less about me and more about everybody else around the table. So doing that actually took a lot of responsibility off my shoulders, but it also helped me look at player characters through a certain lens, through whatever instincts drive them, their beliefs, and then their history and how that's built those instincts and beliefs. So based on that, so what I'm doing, again, just kind of long story short, what I'm doing is I'm building off of what I know about their characters and trying to put that into a little one-off here. And so I am going to lean on my players a little bit to help kind of frame the scene. But I think what we'll do is we'll kind of do a kind of a shared narrative, if you guys are up for it. All right.
Okay.
So, and it's we're playing Victoriana, so we're still going to play with that rule set. We're 1856 London. That's where we're at right now, and that still hasn't changed. But it's a few months before the events that are taking place in the Henry, or Mr. Henry and Mr. and Mrs. Henry Doyle's house. The camera is we'll kind of start framing the scene here. The camera is dark right now. And in the background, what you're hearing is the sound of clattering, rap, 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 tap, 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 tackety, tack, 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 and then ding. And as the camera opens up, you see somebody who is hammering away at an old typewriter. It's got those high keys with the circular buttons, and they're, every single press is an exercise in finger muscles, trying to get every single thing to go down and type correctly. And as the camera pans back, you see some really calloused fingers, gnarled knuckles and stuff hammering away at these keys. And all of a sudden, a thump lands next to him on the desk, and we look over and we see a pile of papers that have been landed there. And the person who's typing just kind of harumphs at this and just kind of goes back to doing their work. And the camera comes up a little bit to see what they're typing, and it says case number 3744A-B. And the sound starts building up a little bit, kind of going past the keys, because he's stopped typing now. He's pulling up the paper, what looks like actually a form, and it looks like it's a police form. And as the camera comes back out, we see that this is not just one desk, but many desks in a pool of police officers. And we're in a police station. And the camera comes back and looks over, and we see Monsieur Joyeux and Miranda Russell seated on a pine bench along a wall, and both of them looking tired. Actually, Miss Russell, you actually look like you've been out in the rain. So
Okay.
you're sodden through, your coat's, just basically just beads of water and everything everywhere. But interestingly enough, Monsieur Joyeux does not have a drop on him. So we're in this police station. Both of you have your hands down, kind of like resting on your legs, but it's just out of camera view, so we don't know if you're in manacles or not. But so let me turn the story over to you briefly. What has brought you guys to be in this police station? Are you here of your own volition or not?
Oh dear.
Well, I can tell you that whether of it's his own volition or not, Monsieur Joyeux does not want to be here. But
yeah, I mean, Miss Russell, she certainly wouldn't want to be entangled with the law in any way. I cannot imagine what she would have been doing, that she would be there for any official reason.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh. whatever is going on, she's quite uncomfortable being there.
Makes two of us.
Okay. All right. You guys are there for just a few minutes, and while you're waiting, there's a footsteps have just kind of been passing by, and ever so often the camera is down on the floor and at that worm's eye view, and you're like seeing footsteps going by and everything. Just pretty much the same shoes, because it's just police wear. It's just the types of boots that they wear all the time, right? But then the camera follows along one set of shoes that continues to walk over to where you two are sitting, and they stop right in front of you. And the camera pans up, and it's a man of rather trim or a slim build. He's got a long face that has really high cheekbones, and his eyes are very penetrating, like a deep blue. And they look down at you, and the camera sees that he's in a policeman's uniform, but he has the rank of what looks like a sergeant. So let's say he has a sergeant stars on his lapel. And he looks down and he says, "So, you'll have been waiting here for quite a while, but I think I've found that package that you've been looking for. It's over here."
Oh, good.
Thanks.
The package sounds much less traumatic.
Here I was, like, wondering, oh god, are we being arrested?
I know, me too. Alright, so, Sergeant, you said?
Yes.
Was he? Okay, alright. Excellent, Sergeant. I'm very pleased that you have found our package, or the package in question. Can we retrieve it at this point?
Well, I'm sure you could. Will have to be some paperwork filled out, of course, but you can follow me. If you will, we'll take you over to one of the interview rooms, and you can wait there.
All right,
So
my good sir.
He stands back and
Okay.
waits for you guys, or he waits for you both to follow.
Right around.
He leads you through the station to one of the side rooms, and there's these. It's like basically a long wall of doors that are paired up. So you'll have like on the left side is the whole policeman's pool, where they have their typewriters and everything. They're doing their reports and all that stuff. But on the right hand side, there's this long hallway or a long wall of doors. And again, paired up, one's side by side, and then you'll go like several feet, and then there'll be another set side by side.
Oh, okay.
And so he takes you to the third set, opens up the right-hand door, and allows you both to come in. So if you'll come inside, you can have a seat right here at the table, and your package is there waiting for you. You can take a look at it, make sure that everything is there, and once I have done, I've just got to go and get the paperwork, and I'll be back.
All right.
So he has you enter into the room, and it's a single table, heavy oak table that has framing bits of brass on all the corners, and looks like it could definitely take a beating, but it's probably been here since the station was built. And on the table there is a package. So maybe one of you might want to describe what the package might look like from the outside. And if you know what the contents are, go ahead and throw it out there, or I can fill it in if you want.
Well, Miranda would be interested in Okay.
Revelation here.
Well, it's a thought. I'm going to say, well, I'm not sure if this is my thought, Jeff. It could be one of the items from, what the heck is his name? Hang on.
Your employer?
No. Hang on, I got my contact sheet right here. Hang on.
All right.
Not the employer. What is that name? Mr. Radcliffe, the guy she's reporting on in the news, or that the reports have been about in the newspaper section that we shared. Who's the explorer?
Okay.
Remember that there was a package that arrived in London a large crate of material. This could be something from that.
Oh yeah,
Something
yeah.
that was maybe missing or misplaced or not filed correctly or whatever. Something that was in that large. I'm trying to remember Alyssa, the newspaper entry that I actually did release to you. What did it say in there?
It's on the Facebook page. Let me.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to remember what I released in that one and what I didn't say.
Yeah, I don't remember the details off the top.
I'm glad you're asking Alyssa and not me, because it'd be a shame if the GM didn't know all this stuff. So
Look it up real quick.
All right,
while
here
I
we
let
are.
my players, look around for that, I'll just remember off the top of my head exactly what it was. Yeah.
Should I read this out or?
Sure.
We could.
If you want to,
Sure,
yeah,
it couldn't
go for it.
hurt. Yeah.
All right. London Evening Standard, June 12, 1856. Lost shipment arrives. It is with considerable excitement that blah blah blah. Receipt of a large shipment previously assumed lost. The shipment arrived via steamer from Calcutta and contains letters and artifacts from the esteemed British explorer Charles Malcolm Radcliffe III. The RGS has yet to provide details of the shipment, but indicated the contents include items from Far East Russia and Deepest China. Shipment stored in the house. It looks like the paperwork wasn't processed for it. It was only recently discovered when the shipment finally came over.
Yeah. Okay. So that's I wasn't sure how far I had left the story. So that's perfect. So the shipment had arrived. It had been delayed for possibly like 18 months or 2 years or something. Had been stuck in a warehouse in Calcutta. So then it went to the RGS, Royal Geographic Society, and this could be either. What I'm thinking is this is something that was in that package that either was stolen from the museum or misplaced or something. And this is an item that was in that shipment and that we have been searching for.
Cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. So I wonder what could be in that. Any ideas, or do you want me to
I have some ideas, depending on how far we want to go with her story. It could be some of the journals from the expedition that she would be particularly interested in finding to make sure that they were not, lost for a variety of reasons.
Right.
It could be we could bring in something more sinister or magical related that could have been in. Could have been in the shipment. I've got all kinds of crazy artifact things that she was aware of on that expedition, so we could bring in something crazy like that. But we also could go something more sinister.
Okay. All right. So you both go in. And now, kind of as the audience, we kind of understand a little bit more of the auspices of what you're here, reasons why you're here. And so the package on the table, let's say it's maybe 1 foot by 2 foot.
Okay.
Is that so?
Sure.
It's small enough to be picked up, but big enough to be substantial, potentially. And it's been wrapped in a heavy parchment with heavy gauge string ties all around it, going crisscrossing in pattern. And it looks like this the paper itself has been sodden, but it's not wet right now. So you can tell that it's been wetted through, or not wetted through, but it's been wet, or either was in the water or it was in the rain, something to that effect. But the packaging looks like it's still tight. So the package is there. What would you like to do with this said package?
So this is the thing you're looking for.
Yes. I'm very, very pleased that it has been discovered and back into my hands, and I can make sure that it gets back to the Royal Geographic Society. What I would do would be dependent on what's in it, or what I think is in it.
Right.
If it's, let's see. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and open it, because I'm concerned about the fact that it's been wet, and that may not be good.
Right.
So,
Right.
Monsieur Joyeux, can you please ensure that the door is closed and that we are not interrupted? Don't leave. Just, I want to make sure you're in the room and the door is shut.
I can just, secure the door handle and
Perfect.
maybe lean against the door.
And then I would
because
go
the door does
proceed.
open inwards. So Sergeant Mornay had left you behind there, trusting in you being able to identify the material there.
So she's I'm going to go ahead and open up the package.
Okay, so let's do this. I'll go ahead and bring y'all's tokens over here.
Tokens.
So there you go, and then there's Miranda. I need to resize your character so that it fits into a square. I always forget to do that. So got you guys there in the room.
I just have to say, Monsieur Joyeux's character always makes me think of, as it sounds horrible, of an Alcatraz prisoner. Every time I look at him, he looks like someone who came out of Alcatraz. So now that I'm in a prison, I'm in a police station with a guy who looks like a convict.
Hilarious.
Listen, it was the most old-timey picture of Morrissey I could find.
Yeah.
It's great. It's just that's what it reminds me.
Like legitimately, just looks like young Morrissey.
Yeah. I dig it. I like it a lot. So, all right. So let me fix this. And let's see. All right. So there's your door.
We have an escape.
Yeah.
Or it was a room without a door.
It used to be a room without a door. Now it's too late. You're trapped. Let's see. So there's that door, and then here's this door. All right. So this is the part where the GM needs to not be so exacting and just allow the narrative to flow. Instead of having fun with the maps that...
like that, too. Like, I have to have my map. I have to know where everything is in relation to everything else.
It's a sickness, really.
This is why we're GMs.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so let's do this. I will switch over here to this. There.
Pardon me.
Okay. So now I've kind of like switched it over for the folks at home so they can kind of see a little bit of what I'm doing. I'm just basically doing some notes, and this is the area here where they've been in the room. So, so Miss Russell, you are opening up the package. The ties, the rope that's or the twine, I should say, that's on here is pretty well knotted. So it takes you a little bit of doing to get it open, unless you want to just cut the twine. Totally up to you.
I won't cut it yet because I might have to tie it back up again.
Okay. All right. So you take your time kind of undoing the knots, that sort of thing. When you finally get the twine open, the packaging, you can tell actually now that your hands are on the paper, it's a nice waxed paper. Okay. So hopefully that's kept everything safe inside. So you undo it, and you feel that it's a hard object. It's most likely a box, and when you finally open it up, you do note that it is in fact a box. It's roughly the size of, like I said, 1 foot wide, 2 foot long, and then probably about, let's say, about yay thick. So what is that? That's like about 4 or 5 inches or so.
Okay.
So sizable.
Okay.
And all along the box, there's finally the light. It's kind of like this. It's a nice, soft, incandescent light that's coming down from above. It gives kind of an orangish glow to everything, rather than what we were used to as modernists of the whole, sallow blue color that's normally in police stations. It's actually kind of nice. And it bathes this box in this glow. And as you're seeing it, it's got workings all along it. So what ends up happening, and I'll just do a quick little freehand draw. It's going to look terrible, so don't even judge me about this. But
no judgment here.
Thank you. So it's got a kind of like a banding that goes along from top to bottom, and then from left to right.
Okay.
And within the banding, or within the areas that aren't kind of given this banding, it's like a brass type of banding that's along the top of the box. And let's see here, Alt circle. So in addition to that, along the 4 areas that are open and not banded, these are supposedly perfect circles, so don't judge again. There are sets of gears that are here.
Okay.
And within each of these gears, zoom in so I can actually do this right, there is a set of 4 holes. So that'll be in every single one of them. So as I painstakingly draw this with the expert accuracy of an artist born, yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
So that is what you're facing. So again, it's a box all the way. It's a 2-foot by 1-foot box, and that's kind of what you're seeing. The primary material that the box is made of seems to be a deep dark wood that you're not quite familiar with, but it has a weight, it has a substantiality to it.
Okay.
And then obviously there's the brass working of these bands, and then the gears that are set in here. So.
Okay.
What do you do?
Are the gears decorative, or it looks like it would open or close using those gears?
I don't know. You want to take a look?
I do. I'm going to... Well, first of all, I'm going to kind of just examine the box all over to make sure that it's not dented or damaged or anything, looking waterlogged or any sort of problems with it that I can see.
All right. The box itself probably weighs around 10, almost 12 pounds, 10 to 15 pounds, let's say. So it's hefty. You can pick it up. It seems like a solid piece to you. It's not like it's going to spill open or whatever. It doesn't seem that way.
I'm not picking it up and shaking it like a Christmas gift.
No.
I'm just being very...
What's inside? What's inside? Answer me! So you pick it up. Are you turning it over, or just trying to pull it up to the right?
Let me think. How would this thing have been toted around? I'm concerned about what's inside of it, so I don't want to rattle it around or anything too much, just in case. So I'm just kind of lifting it up, peering underneath, looking at each side. Again, just more to ascertain the condition of the box than anything else.
Okay. Well, let's see here. So it feels really solid. Let's. You said you had your character sheet right there available. Maybe we can start kind of taking a look at some of the things you got going on there. Let's see. What sort of skill would be useful at this point? And then obviously, Joyeux, if you want to jump in on this too, go for it.
Yeah, that depends on whether the box is. So I've got skills in art and things of that nature. So am I trying to recognize what this was, or I would think that I'm familiar with what it is because it was in that shipment that I would have been familiar with. But the question is, have I opened it before, and do I know what's inside, or have I just collected the box and don't have any details for it?
This particular box, what you're looking at right now, one thing that kind of piques your interest is that it does have Chinese characters on it.
And I would like to read them.
Okay, so, and I think you already have that language already.
Yes, Mandarin.
Mandarin, right. Okay. It's an old form of Mandarin that dates back to one of the first dynasties. And what it says, let's see here. So as you're looking at it and you're looking at how the words flow, they have kind of an interesting pattern to them, and I'll just kind of do like a little marking here that it seems like they've Screwed that one up. Quiet. No questions, no comments from the peanut gallery. So they have a pattern that goes all the way around the box, and then there's marks that go along the sides, and then if you take a gander underneath, so you're kind of like, lifting it up here, the bottom has matching, what looks to be matching gears on the bottom as well.
Okay.
But along these marks, and worked even into the brass of the brass here of these bands all around the box are these markings, and it's a repeated phrase that says, let's see here. I'll go ahead and I'll do this. I will type it right here. Select. All right. All right. A green morning is our past and future. So there you go. It says the green, roughly translated, at least as best you can translate it. It says the green morning is our past and future.
Okay. So I have skills in history, art, science, specifically archaeology. So would any of those help me recognize that phrase or know anything that, any more information based on what I see?
Yeah.
Culture.
Also, are you translating any of this for Joy? Because he just sees this weird puzzle box.
Yeah. So what's Joy doing while Miranda's working away? What's kind of going on in Joy's mind?
Well, Joy's still kind of keeping his ear to the door just in case, like, no one's walking in on them. But,
so Miranda would be looking at this, but she's not necessarily going to translate anything that it says unless there's a need to, or unless Joy's asking a question, because I think it's just she's just kind of looking over everything at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely ask, like, if there are any clues for opening this this puzzle box of yours.
So in that case, I'm still trying to determine exactly how to open it, but you see these markings here. This is in an old form of Mandarin, and it translates to the green morning is our past and future.
Well, that's not a very useful clue.
No, I feel like it might be familiar, but I haven't quite thought it through enough, and so she just kind of continues to run her fingers over the gears and try to rack her brain for something that might make sense.
Okay. All right. I think your culture would be a good one to roll here, and then that's a good place to start. So what do you think, Joy? In your mind, like in your mind space, how do puzzles fit in with you? Is the world a puzzle? Is there parts of you that are a puzzle that maybe you don't even know? You may not even know the solution to. I don't know. Just kind of tossing things out there, getting the juices flowing.
Well, puzzles are definitely interesting. I mean, something to do, but I don't think he's really. Actually, a very good question. I mean, this is a novel than something he's particularly used to, but
right.
He does see the value in cracking these sort of things open.
Mm-hmm.
Would I have any black dice on this?
That's a good question. It's an older dialect, so.
But I do have science, archaeology, research, language, culture, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of really in your wheelhouse, so
Okay.
I would say just a 1 black die, and the only reason for this is just because while this box, and I'll tell you this now, while this box there was listed an object of this size in the manifest that was given, but nothing there was like 4 objects on the list of however many, let's say 15 objects. 4 objects on there were listed if they had written unknown, that would have been a good definition, but you know better than how Mr. Radcliffe would list something. Unknown just basically invites somebody to come in and take this, because they're like, oh, I want to find out what it is. It was listed in such a way to say that this is a fragile object d'art from ancient Far East China, and the kinds of things that would not leave too much. Oh, look at that! Look at it! It's like, no, I need to.
So Mr. Ratcliffe would have described it in a way that I would recognize as meaning that he doesn't necessarily know what it is. Is that what we're getting at? Okay,
Bingo.
gotcha. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so in that case, I'm going to go ahead and roll. And I will explain to... let me see what we got here. 3 and a 1.
Okay. Right, so
I'll explain to Joyeux. So I would back up a second. I would assume that Miranda has already explained to Joyeux that we're looking for a package from this shipment. So you know at least that much.
Yeah.
And now that we have found it, and we're kind of, as we're sitting here discussing, she'll just give a bit more information. So, Monsieur Joyeux, this contraption, this box that we're looking at, came with the shipment from Mr. Radcliffe, but his notes indicate that he is unsure of what it might actually be. And from what I understand, it was very intriguing, and the location in which it was discovered led him to believe that it might have some significance, but he was unable to determine what exactly it is, nor was he able to open it. So I'm relying on his notes to see what he is, my familiarity with his journals and his explorations to know what he would have done and where it would have come from. But at the moment, I don't have an idea on how we might open it, nor what may be inside, for that matter.
Okay.
Well, there are plenty of mysteries in the world.
Then this is certainly
some of them more worthy of solving than others, but
you're saying
what's so terrible that could be inside a box? What's so terrible that could be inside a box?
What's in the box?
I'm so
Alright,
feeling like the
so,
Skyrim thing where I want to just match the pattern on my hand and twist the dial.
Miss Russell, do you mind if I take a look at those symbols?
No, please, feel free.
I'll just kind of step towards the step a little away from the door towards the box, and I think I want to give this a look with my lore skill.
All right, sounds good.
This says I rolled history, but I did tell it to roll culture. So did I write that wrong? Let's see here. Keep going. I'm sorry, talking out loud.
No, you're doing fine. I think culture is, it's, let's see, it looks like you rolled...
I did actually roll the wrong thing. Hang on. Let me roll the right thing.
How many dice did you need to roll?
I have it set as a macro, so I'm not quite sure.
Alright.
2. I just rolled 2.
Okay.
So I forgot exactly what I have to roll for yours, so give me a sec.
Yeah, no worries. And if you grab onto your token, you should have a macro that'll appear on the top left that you can do as a skill attribute
That's what
test.
I forgot. That's what I couldn't remember how to get back to that.
So you can use that if you want. Sorry, I always forget to remind everybody because we do so much narrative. It's like...
Well, no, it's fine, but I can't actually click on her for some reason. It's not letting me.
Yeah, it's I
shoot.
can't pull.
Rookie move. My bad.
He took control of our characters and didn't give it back.
As soon as I put somebody out there, I need to remember to put the character control back. Monsieur Joyeux. And show nameplate. And save. There you go. Alright. Joy, you got control over yours. And then... take care of Miss Russell here.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay.
I don't think I have all his stats in here, so...
There we go. Alright. And then you got yours, Miss Russell. You're all set.
3 for history, 2 for culture. So we're good.
Okay, cool. Let's see here. All right.
There are 67 instances of the word lore in the Victoriana Handbook. And about half of them, if not more, are within the word explorer.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
All right.
Ooh,
So
wits.
let's. So while you're getting your role set up there, Miss Joy, I'll work with Miranda here. So Miranda, for your role, I think you wound up with what? You got
One
no black
success, I
die. That's
believe.
good. So 1 success. Okay. So the symbols themselves look like the way they're written and the pattern in which they're laid out on the box looks like they date back to the Qin Shi Huang dynasty. It's one of the first dynasties. It's roughly, I think it was like 240 to 220 BC, something like that.
Okay.
Or maybe 210 BC. So quite old. But if that's the case, if that's the pattern of this writing, interestingly enough, the box is in really good shape if it's that old. So however it's been preserved, yeah, that's pretty stinking cool.
That would have definitely gotten Mr. Radcliffe's attention.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see. Let's do this. I'll bring this over here.
And I would share that information with Joyeux.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it certainly doesn't look as old as you're saying it is. Well, I'm going to take a look at these symbols.
All
I
right.
don't speak the language, but there's always something with symbols.
Yeah.
So are you looking at the symbols themselves, or are you looking at the gears and the patterns on those?
I think I'm looking at the symbols themselves.
Okay.
So the lore roll, that's wit, which is 2. Except I take I always forget how the die work in this. I'm
Oh.
I remember to have it set up.
Yeah. So let's see here. Whoops. Grabbed too much.
the lore is one of my specialties. And I would make a roll with it like I would make a roll with a common skill. So
Okay.
Right.
let's...
Are you waiting for me on anything? Sorry, I already started typing something and I think I blocked out something. What you're
No, I'm just kind of rolling a blank on how the die rolls actually work.
Oh, okay. So
It's
your
been
white
a
dice
long
are going to be
week.
basically your buildup of skill plus your attribute that goes with it. So when you're looking at your character sheet, it should have the little attribute in the parentheses of what you'd use. So whatever those numbers are, that's the number of dice that you would in fact use. For this one, because it's in a language that you don't understand, I'd give you a 2 black die penalty. So the black dice would roll, and based on the successes that you get on either one, they could cancel each other out. So if you're grabbing your character, your token, you should have a macro that appears. It's called skill attribute. And when you click on that, it should start asking you the questions that you need to add in your dice.
2 skill attribute 1. Black 2, no whammies. Whoa.
All right, so what do we
Whoa.
got?
Wow.
Good job.
Oh, yeah.
3 successes all.
Exactly, no
roll.
whammies, but
That is
heck of
pretty
a roll.
cool. Yeah, it is. Very good. All right, so let's see
Does
here.
the camera pick that up? Because that's a good roll.
I know. You know what? I don't have the darn thing set up to grab that. Sorry. All right,
well,
folks.
for the folks at home,
yeah.
I rolled 3 white dice on that one. All
Yep.
3 of them were 1s, which are successes.
Yep.
I did get one another one on the black dice, but
yeah.
1 is your number tonight.
But 2 successes are definitely nothing to sneeze at, especially in this
Right.
particular role. So, and then and that's a great thing too. I think we're totally getting involved with this now. We're forgetting that folks are watching this. So just real quick, it's basically 6s and 1s are the successes here. For the white dice, if you roll a 6, that explodes, so you can re-roll it. And if you get another 6 or a 1, that counts, and if you get a 6, you keep re-rolling. For the black dice, a 6 and a 1 will cancel out successes, but unlike the white dice, they do not explode, so whatever you get, you get. So in this case here, they're out of 5 dice, 4 of them came of 1s. Now, in Shadow,
awesome.
that would be a horrible botch, but in
Almost
this
a
case,
Yahtzee.
it's awesome. Or Yahtzee. Okay, so I'm going to formulate what is going to be disclosed right here, and we're just going to take a quick break and come right back. So in the meantime, you guys, let's see here. Have a bit of break. We'll be right back.